Part 2 of our first out-of-state trip, we're headed back home. Little did we know that a missing hubcap would be the least of our worries. Stopped at Davis Travel Center to fill up with gas and do our dump station run because we've been boondocking for the last week at Michelle's sister's house. Car was definitely feeling it on the hills, so I decided to dump a little bit earlier. I just did a Google search that came up with RV dump stations. There was no indication that it actually had a dump station. So the only thing that actually gave me a clue is that somebody put a picture on Google Map and literally pointed to exactly where the dump station was. So that was pretty helpful. I'm saying that to give you a heads up that just because it isn't in Campandium or and any other search site doesn't mean that there aren't any closer RV dump stations that you can find. So do your homework, do a little bit of research, and I know a lot of people aren't aware of Camping World having dump stations, but there was one there, which is where we were going to be going. So this was exit 39 on I-95 in Virginia, Davis Travel Center. You could get gas at the exact time because it was right next to it. It was free. And it had a Subway, Little Caesars, Dunkin' Donuts. Oh, and the best part about it is that it had a full-on dog park available, so your dogs can roam around. Lily went out there and did her business.
So now we gotta try to make it home before there's no gas, because everyone's starting to freak out.
We were planning on stopping for 1 or 2 days, but I think unless we're both really exhausted, we're just going to make it all the way through because it is the Colonial Pipeline situation and gas stations are running out of gas. While we were pumping gas here, there was an employee that came up to us and said, where you're headed, there's a couple of gas stations that are starting to run out already, so make sure you fill up well in advance. Well, we are stopped once again. This time it's because Jasmine threw up because she had too much food in her mouth. We were about getting close to half a tank, so it kind of worked out. We are at a Valero somewhere right outside Richmond heading north. Then she decided to get in the mud, so we have to clean off her shoes. But let me tell you, traveling with a travel trailer and a toddler is great because we have all her clothes and we can rinse her off if we need to. Her teddy got puke on him, so we gave him a bath. We're going to the bathroom real quick in order to get out of Richmond, but it seems like I'm the only one left because Jake puked this morning. That's the cat. Michelle puked 20 minutes into the car trip because she's pregnant. Jasmine has throat issues, so she puked. And I guess really it's just me and Lily that haven't yet. So this area is running out of gas and we're stopping every 30 minutes or 20 minutes. So right now it doesn't seem like we're gonna make it anywhere, but yeah, we'll see what happens with the rest of the trip. we have had a hell of a day so far. I'm sorry for the wind noise here, but it's been crazy. We stopped a bunch of times for puke issues. We've been completely slowed down by construction, and we actually decided to end up stopping because Michelle's not feeling too good. So we are going to be stopping at Buttonwood Campground, thanks to the recommendation by Eli and Fawn from RV East Coast. So thank you very much, guys, for that. They were able to, they were able to get us in without any issues. They got plenty of availability right now. So we're pretty excited to not only be able to stop and end today's road trip, but also be able to visit a campground that we've been wanting to. So we are going to get a quick snack here in Gettysburg and head up there because we got to be there by 5 o'clock. Boy, do we feel defeated. Sorry if the... Yeah, baby. Yeah. Sorry if the quality is not very good. Not even in the mood to put the mic on, but we made it to Buttonwood Campground, and let me catch Jazz real quick.
Daddy?
Yeah? I'm here. Ready? Careful, there's a wet spot! Ah. Good job.
Cool. We're sitting in just a wood train.
We are sitting in a wood train.
Yeah, I'm gonna go play.
Okay, have fun.
I'm gonna go.
Michelle definitely couldn't handle the car ride anymore, so we ended up stopping at Buttonwood. It worked out great because we've been wanting to come here. But of course, as soon as we get here, we're trying to set up and our slide doesn't come out. It's getting stuck, and I noticed that there's a piece on one of the tracks that looks like it's breaking and grinding really bad. Somewhat of the good news is that we're actually near where we bought our camper, so we're going to try and get in there tomorrow. Of course, when we got here it was 5 o'clock, so we weren't able to make a phone call. No. Okay, let's go. Start walking. So with the slide situation, we'll see what happens, but between Michelle being sick and the gas situation happening, now the slide, we're feeling pretty defeated. I gotta take Jasmine to the bathroom and we'll meet up in a little bit. Good job. Alright, well, Jasmine and I are out for a walk, just exploring. We are
By the water.
yeah, we are by the water. Thank you.
And
Just exploring.
We're gonna go to a pillow now that's blue color.
Oh yeah? You're gonna jump in the pillow?
Yep, it's really bouncy.
Alright, we'll go to the pillow. Alright, it is 7 o'clock already. Jasmine and I just went on a little exploration hike just to look at the campground a little bit. We only really made it to the riverside and explored over there. She wanted to get her feet wet even though it's about 55 degrees out. But hey, whatever she wants at this point. Still feeling defeated. The slide won't come out more than a foot. Back in North Carolina, we noticed that the door in the bathroom under the sink, the screws were stripped and they basically came off from all of the motion. When we got here to the campground, one of the jars of garlic salt fell from the fridge and we got garlic salt everywhere. So that was fun. I've heard of worse stories of things falling, so we actually made it out pretty good, but now the camper smells like garlic salt and Lily is all over trying to lick every crumb she can find. On top of that, all of the stuff that we put up is pretty much falling off. We're pretty much scrapping anything 3M, the nano tape, we're just screwing it on, and if we can't screw it on or we don't want to screw it on, it's not getting put up. So Jazz and I are just playing around, and now she's enjoying the bouncy pillow with a nice beautiful view in the background. We have a little sunset going on with the farm and the cows behind while Jasmine plays. So I think other than the cold, we're making out pretty decent, and of course all the issues that we're having. We'll see what happens tomorrow morning when we call RV place that we got our trailer from and see how they respond. In the meantime, I am going to go play with Jazz and get back to you.
Hello. What's your name?
Number 396.
You look like Moose, Mr. Moose. Okay. Have a good lunch.
Look, Jazz, tunnel. Yeah, here we go. Ready? 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Tunnel time!
Yeah.
Well, we finally made it back to Syracuse. We feel even more defeated than yesterday. We woke up this morning, I called the dealership, and they basically told me, you have to call LCI. We can't get you in until June. I wasn't expecting it to be fixed that day or anything like that. I have a feeling this is going to be a pretty big fix. So I called LCI, talked to Chris. We went over a few steps, nothing much that could be done based on the information that I gave him. And he said, take some pictures, send them back to me. We'll see what's going on. Based on his response back, it looks like something's out of alignment. Basically what he had me do is send him measurements from each of the 4 corners and see how far away everything was. So I believe, if I remember correctly, it was more than a quarter off. He told me, doesn't matter what happens at this point, it's definitely going to have to get serviced. So I called the dealership back, and she told me, bring it in when you can, and we will try to get you seen as soon as possible. I can't guarantee anything. I don't know when it's going to be or anything like that. So at this point, it's 8:30 in the morning. I ended up calling a bunch of dealerships around the area, and number one, some of them didn't want to service us, which we kind of expected because we didn't buy the camper from them. A couple small ones, mom and pops, that were very nice. And they said, we do, but you would have to wait until June. Or even one of them said, we can service you on Wednesday. I scheduled the appointment, and then at the end, he said, just to let you know, we don't do warranty work for Forest River. So what that meant is that I needed to pay out of pocket for all of the fixes and then deal with Forest River or LCI, whoever's going to end up taking care of it at that point, for getting reimbursed. Well, I'm definitely not going to do that. So at this point it was 11 by the time we had done all the phone calls and everything. Checkout was at 1 o'clock, and we were already exhausted from the trip from yesterday, Michelle being sick and everything, that we needed to decide, are we going to go an hour and a half out of our way to drop it off at the dealership that we bought it from, where we know we're going to get good service, or we expect good service, because at least when we were there buying, it was great. The reviews are great. The service department while we were there was awesome. So that's what we decided to do. We decided to leave our trailer at the dealership where we purchased it from, 4 hours away from our home. We ended up this trip without the camper with us. We went knowing that we would have to drop it off. They weren't going to make miracles right then and there. So we dropped it off and we started heading back home. We actually only left the campground about 17 minutes late, which was awesome because we ended up having to completely unpack the trailer and throw everything that could go bad or spoil or whatever, anything that we wanted with us. We needed to throw that in the back of the SUV because we don't know how long we're going to be without a camper. I have no idea when they're even going to look at the camper, when we're going to get it back. Everything's in the air. We have a camping trip scheduled for a week and a half from now. So I'm most likely going to have to cancel that because there's no possible way that I think they're going to be able to fix this in time. Then we are literally in downtown Syracuse, excited to be finally home, just a couple of minutes away from the house. And as we're getting off the exit, we get sideswiped. So that was exciting. I think it would have been scarier if we had the camper with us. They ended up hitting our side view mirror. Now, luckily, I forgot to take off the mirror extensions that we use when we're towing the trailer. Since we had left it back in Adamstown, I forgot to remove those. And that is actually what saved us from, I think, getting a lot more damage, and especially having to replace our factory mirrors. So because they were out a little bit more extended, they hit those mirrors, it folded in, and there was no damage. Everybody in our vehicle was safe. So we just got back in our car and moved on. But it was just one of those things where it was another icing on top of the cake. We're finally home. We're excited to be home. At this point, we're going to wrap up the video. Always make sure that when you're going out on any trip, be prepared for the unexpected. Flat tires, accidents, issues with the camper. Build in those buffers. Be prepared for the unexpected. You probably can't carry every single tool that you have in your tool shed, but make sure that you have the essential ones that will help you get yourself out of a bind or out of danger. And don't let those little moments change how you feel about traveling, about camping, and don't let it ruin the memories that you're going to create. Stay tuned to see what ends up happening with our camper. Are we going to make it to the next campground that we have scheduled? I highly doubt it. Subscribe to the channel so you can stay up to date with our journey. Thank you so much for watching. We really appreciate it, and we'll see you on the next video.